of the fundamental things that we encounter when we look into the nature of negative energetic manifestations, whether it be those old school demons or an archon or a jinn or, you know, an implant or a piece of trauma that's stuck in your body from, you know, an experience when you're a child. Whatever it is, what we're experiencing right now, and all you got to do, I promise you, you guys, go to the store. Those of you guys in the US right now, go to the store. If you want to see an example of a literal mind virus in action, look at all the toilet paper aisles, because this is a perfect time for every single person here to go, okay, this is a real world example of frequency manipulation affecting the urges, the thoughts, the desires, the behaviors of humans. And so let's talk about this Wetiko thing, because this is it right here. The concept of a hive mind virus, you guys, it has been explored through many, many different ascension media outlets, bloggers, people, cultures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Google it. You're going to find beings. You're going to find multiple spellings. You're going to find images. You know, I have actually had people come to me for an energy clearing, and they're like, I have a Wendigo attached to me. It's an actual being. Here's what's crazy. All those things are entirely true and entirely possible. But what are we talking about? Because this is something that's been, you know, discussed a lot recently. But one of the more well-known examples of this phenomenon of a mind virus is what we call the Wetiko, aka Wendigo, Wetiko, Windigo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I believe it was originated with the Algonquin tribe of, I think it's Eastern Canada, Northern United States, you know, I think kind of in the Great Lakes region, but don't quote me on that, you guys. But what is it? What is it? Wetiko is essentially a mind virus that induces extreme selfishness, cannibalism, parasitism, a hive mind mentality leading to extremes, herd behavior, abuse, domination scenarios, an insatiable hunger for power, for security. In some cases, if you want to get ultra technical, then you look at what's going on within the highest kind of elitist circles on the planet right now. Yes, it is also a hunger for actual blood. And for some of you guys, you're like, well, that's a weird can of worms. But yeah, we are going there because the Wetiko mind virus is one of the most present and just pervading elements of energetic or negative energetic manifestations that we have right now. You can literally, you guys, try it when we're done here today, turn on the news. I know it's a horrible thing to do, but turn on the news and listen to the tone, listen to the energy, look at the look, the gaze in people's eyes, look at the hunger. You're going to see this mind virus in action. But anyway, all under the guise of right action, what's appropriate in the energy of the moment. I've got to completely annihilate you. And if, you know, and if you don't go with me, you're against me. A cult-like mentality. We see this on many different varying levels, whether it be in the spiritual community, whether it be in politics, whether it be in elitist circles, you know, whether it be in our own immediate family, whether it be when we go to the store right now and we're like, no way, man, I'm gonna fight you over your parking space, you know, whatever it is. What we're watching is that virus of extreme selfishness and the level to which that can affect us. For some people, it's huge. It literally overtakes their being. The Native Americans, and actually in this case, we're talking about Paul Levy, who wrote a really good book called Dispelling the Wetiko. I don't have it anymore. I actually took this quote from a different source. This is from Bernhard Gunther, if you guys want to check him out, at a website called The Veil of Reality. But he had actually pulled a really, really good quote from Paul Levy, who wrote Dispelling Wetiko, Breaking the Curse of Evil. And this is in my opinion, a really good explanation for what this is, how it works. And once under the Wetiko spell, people lose the capacity to recognize the Wetiko pathology in others. In a situation of group narcissism, Wetikos, or rather what they call individuals, you know, that have been exposed or have been, you know, already permeated by this mind virus, Wetikos at different stages of the disease assume particular postures and roles relative to each other that protect and shield themselves from their own insanity and darkness. They feed and reinforce each other's narcissism because it enhances their own. When a group of people are in agreement about anything, whether it is true or not, their alignment with each other exerts a contagious magnetic field force that can sway the unaware and attract them into itself. We are on guard, even paranoid right now, especially regarding contagious diseases of the body, but are woefully asleep and unconcerned about, and hence more susceptible to catching the more dangerous collective diseases of the mind, which are reaching pandemic proportions in our world today. And so what are we talking about with the Wetiko, you guys? I want to get super weird, and I don't know, somebody might get a little bit triggered when I say this. Maybe this viral thing that's going around everywhere. What if it wasn't even a physical thing? What if it was a timeline choice to align ourselves with a frequency of fear and hypervigilance, of suffering, of parasitism, of some form of dominance needed to ensure a level of security, success, power, safety, whatever it is, what if it was just a frequency all along? I'm not saying it is. Food for thought, though, you guys.